What we originally started with was an idea that came through from the Department of Education, where they wanted to start an aquaculture program probably 7 years ago. And that was because that we have such a large amount of seafood industry and everything on the coast. And if we are going to do anything about that, aquaculture is our future. And so working with myself and several other people at RCU and MDE, we were able to develop a new curriculum, which installed the first series, which was the freshwater application to it. These students that are here today have graduated to our saltwater side, and the saltwater side of it is originally started out with speckled trout. The trout we get from the Gulf Coast Research Lab, we raise them for the year and then release them. This year's edition is the red drum. The red drum are the first time that we've ever done this species at the high school or in any high school in the South. It's been a really, really good experience for them because not only do they get to start the fish out very small, but they get to raise those fish all the way to the release point. After we raise them, we tag those fish with the graduating class and the data from that fish and my cell phone. So if anybody catches a fish, I can go back to, all of our groups have different names, and one of the groups is Lady Gargar. And so Lady Gargar, I can go back and tell them that, hey, somebody in Pascagoula caught one of your speckled trout and was able to give me an updated size status and everything on it. So it draws them into not only the husbandry aspect of it, but to have all of those fish grown in the beginning to the final release product is something they're really proud of. Year one starts out at either sophomore or juniors, and then they can graduate to the year two program, which will be either their senior year or their junior year. We usually like to get them as sophomores. So as a sophomore, they can start, do year one, then they will go to year two as a junior, and then their senior year will be their internship at the research lab. Currently, I have 8 kids that are involved in the what we call work-based learning, and they do that work-based learning program through the research lab. They're there on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and they work hand in hand with the scientists at the fish hatchery over in Cedar Point.
This is one of many cohorts of students that have come through and released the fishes, with something that we at GCRL and USM and the Marine Aquaculture Center are very proud of. So these students are responsible from the start to the release that you'll see today. So every day they're in the aquaculture facilities, taking care of the animals, cleaning the tanks. They're invested in every single aspect of it. So there's aquaculture facilities at the Ocean Springs High School, which is where they work, but here at the Gulf Coast Research Lab at our Thad Cochran Marine Aquaculture Center, which is at our Cedar Point campus near the Gulf Islands National Seashore, we have state-of-the-art aquaculture facilities and can grow animals, fish and crustaceans such as crabs, and we're getting ready to break ground on a new oyster hatchery.
We do everything involving biology aspect of it. We do the engineering part, everything they have in the greenhouses they build. They draw their schematics, they work everything out. They're doing water flow, they're doing density, they're doing stocking, they're doing feeding, they're doing everything that goes along with everything associated with being an aquaculture student or an aquaculture person that works out in the field.
This hands-on experience really is essential. Students really are responsible for all aspects of it, and they really get a sense of pride from it. Great for preparing them for the future.
We don't have to sit inside a classroom all day. We're out in the field. We work probably 45 minutes to an hour each class out in the greenhouse. They're able to take ownership of their tank, the species they grow, the fish they grow, no matter if it's plants or fish or oysters or crabs or crawfish, whatever it is. They have the ownership over that. They're able to raise that animal. They're able to take care of it. And at the end, they're able to see how many they have left from the beginning of the year. The big thing is always, I give trophies out for who has the most fish at the end of the year and who raises the biggest fish. So they were in competition the whole time we were in the greenhouse saying, you know, I've got 146 or I've got 192 or whatever they may be. There was also one group's like, I got 54. So they obviously weren't the best group, but we do that on a scale of not only their rating as far as they do in the class, but survivability, how much they fed. We keep stocking and data collection on all that. We do weights and measures throughout the year so we can see growth patterns. That way we know at the very end who has the largest fish and everything from there. I just love that I can involve the students in something that they're really going to enjoy. The biggest kick for me is coming back to where I've got students now that know that we're releasing fish today, and I had them 7 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, and they'll come back and contact me talking about the new fish or whatever the species is. and the fish that they're releasing, if they're doing trout, if they're doing at one point with the tilapia, and the kids all remember all the things that we've done, and they can make that connection. A lot of my former students are now working at the research lab. They've gotten jobs there. I have ones involved in oysters, I have some involved in finfish, and I get to continue that connection through, not only through high school, but then through college and then through life, because we raise these fish together. It's a connecting factor from all of them. We're going to take a picture on the hauler before we leave today. It'll go on my wall, and every kid for the next 20 years will get to see this group. We have groups all the way through. They remember what fish they raised, how many fish they grew, and everything goes along with it.